Hey everybody out there, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan. You're in my corner and I have a very special guest in the corner. Would you like to unveil your not so secret identity?
Hello there, this is Eric Scott Kimerer. How are you?
I imagine you like with a little mustache that you're twirling
A
in a thing
little.
of tea.
Well, the tea is accurate, actually.
Oh, awesome. Well, it's
We're halfway
funny.
there.
Halfway there, yes. It'll take
Yes.
a little bit longer to grow the mustache, I'm assuming.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit.
But no, we're very happy to have you on the show. We're always excited to see new, fresh faces, and you have some really awesome projects that just got announced, so the fans were clamoring to get you on.
I do, and well, first off, thank you for having me. This is my first official interview. So it's great to be recognized for the work I've been doing, and I do have some really fun projects coming out. Magi just got announced for a second season, and Toradora has been announced for a Blu-ray set release, and I'll be playing Ryuji Takasu in that, and that's coming out July 1st.
Yeah, we're really excited about Toradora because nobody saw it coming. We assumed
No.
Magi was going to get a second season, but Toradora, everybody was like, "Whoa, that's getting a dub? Didn't they release
Yep.
that already?"
Yes, it's Niz America's first dub, and they kind of teased it at Anime Expo last year. They had a panel where they were saying English dubs have been requested and they are looking into it. And immediately afterwards, I got the call for Toradora, and we started recording for that and kept it secret for all but half a year. And they just recently announced it, much to my own surprise. I didn't even know. My roommate just texted me saying, "Hey, you can talk about this now."
Yeah, that's always the fun part when you're not sure you can say anything because the NDA ninjas are around.
Absolutely. And this one I've been wanting to talk about for a long time. We've been working really hard on it.
I'm sure it has a cult following. People who love the slice of life kind of romance genre seem to recommend it really strongly, even to people who might not like that genre. It seems like a good entry series.
Absolutely. And I actually say it's not only in my top 10 favorite anime of all time, but it's probably my favorite romantic comedy anime of all time. I love the characters, and I was so surprised to even get the audition, much to the surprise of everyone else who didn't even know that they were getting a dub. Um, and I was really excited to be a part of it.
Well, now I have to wonder when you're supposed to be sort of kind of a tough guy like that and you have to switch roles and be very emotional as the series kind of progresses. Was that difficult to do, or did you have to watch like sappy movies beforehand? How did you prepare for that?
No, not necessarily. The fun thing is that he really isn't that tough of a guy. I mean, he looks tough, but he does have such a kind heart, and he's just got this dry, sarcastic wit about him that kind of seems standoffish, but he's just a down-to-earth, good-hearted kind of guy. So it really did have a lot of the emotion in it to begin with, and as it progressed, it just got more and more out because his walls were kind of breaking down. Um, because he and Taiga, let's face it, they start off with way too many insecurities.
That's true, and it's nice to see how they kind of overcome them throughout the series. And I'm sure fans who have seen the series before are really excited to pick it up. I
Yeah.
I know a few hardcore staff members that are those people that spend, like $600 a month on anime, and I'm like, where do you put it all?
Oh man. I usually splurge at conventions for my DVD collections, but I've been good this year so far.
I'm a right stuff lady. I
Yeah,
essentially that's me. I'm like, okay, here's my 25 to 100 for this month allowance on stuff, and it goes to right stuff generally.
I love Right Stuff. I think the most I've ever spent at a convention though was like $300 in one go to get the Bakano Blu-ray set and the Read or Die Blu-ray set. I just had to pick those up.
Oh, those are good ones though.
Yeah, yeah.
So I have to wonder, since you just had a convention, what did you pick up from the dealer's hall for that one?
Actually, I didn't pick up all that much. My liaison kind of picked up enough for me because they give you kind of a daily stipend for food and a budget for that weekend, and the liaison is encouraged to use that money for whatever they want for the guests. And mine just picked up a couple of Super Nintendo games for me, which is what I'm starting to collect a lot of old games from the old systems. And I just brought my Super Nintendo down from my home in Seattle, so he added to the collection for that.
Oh, wonderful. We need major
Yeah,
high fives around here because I recently just moved into from an apartment into a house and I can finally set up all of my old consoles. I
fantastic.
absolutely love doing that. So I've got, my
Yep.
ColecoVision, my Intellivision, my
Well, there's just something.
Jaguar.
Yeah. Oh man.
So it's so nice. And then,
Wow.
you've got different shelves. So I've got the place like I've got my mom freaked out at me because she's like, "Why do you have two PlayStation 2s?" And I'm like, "Well, one's European. Why do you need a European one?" Because I have the one game I can only play on that one.
Yeah, I've got quite a collection. I've got all the modern systems, except I've got like the PS4, PS3, Xbox 360, and even though they have all these emulators between them and different virtual consoles, there's just something about the classic feel of the controller that really sells the game.
And I think owning the actual game in your hand just there's something about it that just feels nice. It's almost
Yeah,
refreshing. Like it's on there on my shelf. I know exactly where it is. I don't have to
absolutely.
dig through any files or I don't have to go through, several different systems to figure out which one it's on.
I don't have to connect online to verify my account and say that yes, I'm allowed to play this game and stuff like that.
Perfect. I am glad we're on the same page with that
Yes.
because
I
I don't meet
don't know. I
many
have
many
quite a
physical
digital collection.
collectors anymore.
I am quite the physical collector. I collect games more than I play them,
Well,
I
out
will
of
admit.
sheer curiosity, do you know what your rarest game might be?
Rarest, I don't really have many rare games. I have a first edition copy of Silent Hill on the PlayStation 1 as well as a first edition copy of Final Fantasy 7. Um I think that might be it because I just collect mostly the big games, the ones that I want to play because I'm sure I could drop the money to get Earthbound, but I don't have that kind of budget.
Yeah, that's a scary one to go after. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'd
It's kind of
imagine.
it's kind of like going after Shadow Hearts. That one's a scary
Oh
one too
God.
sometimes. I actually have that without the case and the manual and the cover art, and it drives me nuts that I don't have any place to put it but a sleeve.
Oh,
One day.
one day, one day.
But for the fans out there, I also obviously, Moggy is loved. And, we've talked to Erica before and a few others who are part of the cast, and everyone seems to really adore just the person that they're cast as in that show.
Yeah, and I'm no exception to that. I love Alibaba. He is such a fun character, and I am so excited that I get to reprise him. I really can't wait for the recording of the second season to start, which I'm assuming is in a couple of months over the summertime. So I've got some anticipation to build up.
Well, good thing you have all those games to tide you over.
Exactly, exactly.
But for Magi, obviously that was able to, you were able to interact, I think, a little bit more with the fans on that because people got to see it on certain outlets a lot
Yes.
easier than some of the other series that you've been a part of. So, did you get to hear their outcry of joy?
A little bit. I've been keeping an eye on the Twitters and some of the YouTube comments and a couple of the forums. I'm not really sure where to look for a lot of the bigger outlets for people who talk about this kind of thing. But for what I've seen, the reaction has been really positive, and I've been really happy to hear it. Uh, and just recently at SakuraCon, I got to talk to the Japanese producer, director, and uh, character designer, who all just gave glowing comments to the whole cast, and it was such an incredible experience to talk to them and hear their positive reaction.
That must be really nice to be able to be like, I'm in this too, to your kind of
Yes.
counterpart of sorts.
Yes, exactly. Well, I mean, I have a Japanese counterpart now apparently because Yuki Kaji, who voiced Alibaba, is also the voice of Haruyuki, which I did before this role. And I got to talk to the producers, and they were saying, "Yeah, we're definitely going to talk to Yuki. Tell him about you because you sound exactly like him. It's incredible." And it was probably the best compliment I could have received.
Aw, how nice. Especially
Yeah.
considering Haruyuki is a very, I don't want to say he's not stereotypical in
No,
anime.
he's a controversial character, indeed, because there are some people who really love his character design as if he's a completely different protagonist than you have ever seen. The wimpy, insecure. He's basically the counterpart to Kirito. That's how the creator Reki Kawahara approached him. Because everybody was saying Kirito in Sword Art Online was too overpowered, so he wrote Excel World with a very underpowered, very weak, and timid character. And people latched onto it, and there are some people who didn't really care for it. Uh, but I really, really liked playing him. He was a really incredible character. He had such
Well,
a great journey to go on.
well, I will say from a girl's perspective, obviously most girls like hot guys in anime, but I like the fact that they still made him like adorable and cute.
Yes, a
He, he-
little,
he's he's still got like that chibbiness to him, even though he's supposed to be overweight.
a little butterball, and he has that cartoony look to him, but he has such a serious approach and such a grounded story to structure. So it's weird. It's kind of a weird juxtaposition.
But that's what makes the character in the show so interesting.
Yeah, I think so.
And that role must have been a lot of fun because, they must have showed you what the character looked like at one point, and you were like, "Oh, cool." And then you had this idea, and then you got to it and you were like, "What?" This is
Well,
very different.
well, the audition was actually quite interesting because I actually originally auditioned for Takumu, which is Lucian's character in Sword Art, so not Sword Art, Excel World. I only got his audition and I sent it in, and my roommate also auditioned for a couple of characters. Sarah Williams, she is the one who got Unico, the Red King, and I saw her audition for that as well as. Uh, Gosh, it's been so long since I've seen the show. Chihiro, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chihiro. She also auditioned for that character, and then I saw the scene with Haruyuki in it. I'm just like, this is such a bizarre looking character, and she goes, "That's the main character." I was blown away the fact that they would do something like that. It was really cool to see. Then the next day, Bang Zoom calls me and goes, "Actually, we would like you to come in and audition for this character." I was like, "Okay, cool. This is my first chance to do something like that." Uh,
Awesome.
yeah,
That must have been a lot of fun to do something outside the norm.
yeah, exactly.
Because I know a lot of voice actors are like, I get cast in a lot of like typecast or stereotypes that are the same, so it must have been nice to do something a little bit different.
Right. And I think if I look at back at my history, my recent history, it's nice to say that I haven't necessarily been typecast quite yet. I've gotten a wide variety of youthful characters, but they all have such different traits about them that it's nice to say I'm not, just the nerdy character or not just the wandering adventurer or just the what have you.
Yeah, exactly. And for the fans out there who haven't picked up Excel World yet, you can get it on Right Stuff Part 1 and Part 2 for $29. So make
Yep.
sure to pick that up because we're going to go to a short break here on 91.8 The Fan. So don't go anywhere because our special guest isn't. Keep it tuned to your favorite station where we play everything you want and nothing you don't. Hey everybody, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan. My special guest is still here alive and breathing.
Hey there.
And luckily not breathing in any funk, even though he's in his closet.
It's a very small closet. This is where our booth is.
Hopefully I didn't give out the secret of your headquarters.
Oh no, this is kind of like Abed's Dreamatorium in Community. I don't know if you watch that show.
That's
I like to think
brilliant.
it is. I like to think it is.
That's brilliant. I think that's lovely.
Yes.
Or maybe not so lovely.
Well, no, I mean that's pretty much all we do as actors is play pretend. So I think it's kind of an apt analogy.
Yeah, I agree with you. But for
Yeah.
the listeners out there who want to, catch what you're doing or any other projects that you think that they should check out, do you have anything that you're working on that you can talk about or anything that recently came out that you want them to know about?
Nothing that I really can talk about. A lot of my projects that are upcoming are lock and key right now under the NDA umbrella. Toradora, like I said, is coming out. That's July 1st. It will be released on Blu-ray. There's a couple of different packages you can get with that. A premium edition with a art book, I believe, and there's a regular edition. Recently, I have Inazuma 11 that has been released on the 3DS. It's a eShop title. You can only get it on their virtual console. And I've been really excited for this. It's like a soccer RPG that has a really big following in Japan and a little bit of a following over here. And this is their first uh, American release, their first American dub for it. And it's done by Level 5, who did Ni no Kuni. So if you like that kind of game, I'd really recommend checking it out.
I believe they also did Professor Layton as well.
Professor, yeah. I think so. Yeah. I haven't played so much of those games, but I really want to try out Phoenix Wright and Professor Layton.
And if you're old school, they also did Dark Cloud, which is super old school on
Oh
PlayStation 2.
yeah.
So
Oh man. It's one
still
of the
waiting for
games
the
I played on
sequel
there.
on that one.
Yeah, yeah, we're never gonna get that.
Hey, they just renewed the trademark on it again.
Oh, did they? Oh,
Yes,
well,
so
well,
we might
maybe E3 that is coming up.
that is coming up. That would be very exciting, but
Yes, it is. I'm looking forward to hopefully a Majora's Mask announcement at 3D at E3 for the 3DS. That is
I just picked up my 3DS. So far I don't have a lot of titles on it. I was waiting. I'm not really a Pokemon person. I kind of grew out of that, I guess. Sorry, everybody out there who suddenly just tuned out. But I wanted a really pretty 3DS that wasn't Pokemon one, so I got the Disney one that recently came out. So I have the Disney game
Oh,
and I have Fire Emblem, and that's it.
I got the Legend of Zelda one because the Legend of Zelda is probably my favorite franchise of all of them. I love every game they've come out with so far.
The one thing that I really liked about the 3DS, though, I will say, is the Street Pass system is really nice. I went to a convention
Oh yeah,
last weekend.
when you go to
Oh my
conventions, that's
God, it's so
very
stupid.
very so
I got exactly 100 Street Passes on the weekend.
wow. Wow.
I was like, yay! I have
Yeah.
puzzles
Anime
and stuff.
Anime Expo, you have to check your 3DS like every 10 feet in order to get everything, because otherwise it's just going to back up to the 10 maximum and you're missing out on so much. There are so many street passes to get there.
Yeah, I need to try that out just so I can get all the puzzles and be like, look at how pro I am.
Yeah.
But I want to say something for the listeners out there. I believe, and I'm almost positive of this, that you are the last soldier we are missing from Skullgirls.
Yes, yes. I was one of the egrets in Skullgirls, and I was there along with KG Tang and Jason Wishnoff and Bobby Thong.
Yeah, it's that was really fun for us to be like, we've gotten everybody from Skullgirls, but we're still missing like two soldiers, and it's you and Jason. So now it's
Oh
just
dear.
him.
Now it's just him. Okay. Well, he's really hard at work at his game. I don't know if you know about his Iridium Studio game. I believe there came an Echo,
Yes,
which,
we do know a little bit about that. We've been trying to
yep.
contact him through a site. He's got a target on his back, so if you want to warn
All right, all right.
him. But no, for the fans out there, is there a place on the internet where they can keep up to date with what you're doing for any other projects? Do you Twitter? Do you Facebook? Do you have a website?
I Twitter. You can find me on Kimerer there, Ekimerer. I don't necessarily have a website quite yet. That is in the works. You can find me. Well, I think just on Twitter is probably the best place to find me at this time. I've got to come up with a Facebook fan page in the near future because it's getting a little chaotic on my own personal page.
Yeah, that's always kind of a hard thing to deal with. It's like, who's this person that keeps adding me? Why are there
Yeah,
8 people adding me? Why are there 20 people adding me? Why are they all sending me
yeah.
game requests?
I tr- I try to keep it to people I've met in person, but I think I need to kind of start whittling it down to just friends and colleagues and family and stuff.
No, we totally understand. We know that sometimes certain opinions can get you in trouble, even when you're trying to say them privately on the internet. So we don't want to invade your personal space.
Yeah.
So
I
we'll
try
watch
not to
out
be
for
very
this.
opinionated on there. It's Facebook is just a fun little bulletin board.
Well, we'll watch out for your fan page. I'm sure you'll update your
Okay.
Twitter on
Yeah.
that. And
Yes.
for the listeners out there, they're getting excited and antsy in our live chat because we've reached the 91.8 The Fan tradition, and we're wondering if you'd be willing to participate.
Absolutely. I'm ready.
Basically, we ask if you'd be willing to do a radio bump for us.
A radio bump. Yes.
Yeah, awesome, cool. We just ask if you'd be willing to say, hello, my name is, you insert your name. I do this. You can insert characters, you're a voice actor, whatever you want to put there. And you're tuned into 91.8, The Fan.
All right.
So whenever
Okay.
you're ready.
All right. Hello, this is Erik Kimerer, voice actor. I do the voices of Ryuji Takasu in Toradora, Haruyuki Arita in Excel World, and Alibaba in Magi, the Labyrinth of Magic. You are listening to 91.8 The Fan.
Oh, look at that. You didn't even need to take two. The fans get super excited because they're like, "Oh, yay, bloopers!" But
Oh
they've
no.
actually been striking out quite a bit because the people we've had on have been such pros.
Well, I am really hoping we might get a blooper reel to Anime Expo for Toradora. Nothing has been announced yet for any kind of appearance. I'm gonna probably be floating around there because I usually go to Anime Expo. But if there's anything happening, I hope they cut together a blooper reel because we had so many good bloopers.
Well, for the fans out there, are there any other conventions besides Anime Expo you might make an appearance at, or is that still in the works?
Some are still in the works. I've got Matsuri Con, and there I'm actually going to be an official guest this year. That's going to be in Ohio in August, which we'll see how that goes. I'm not really familiar with what the weather patterns are like at that time of year in that area. Um, Other than that, I believe I've got another one in the works that's going to be in San Diego next spring. And I just came back from SakuraCon, which was really fun. And hopefully I can start networking with other conventions and start making it out to the other corners of the United States.
Wonderful. Well, is there
And I'm
anything else?
always, oh,
Oh, sorry,
sorry.
go ahead.
No, and like I said, I'm always around Anime Expo and Anime LA just because I love going to conventions in general and just hanging out.
Well, that sounds perfect because, conventions are kind of like going to Disneyland, but for anime fans.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got Disneyland here too, which I always love going to. So double whammy.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to tell the listeners out there? Any words of wisdom, dating advice, predictions for the end of the world?
Dating advice, you don't want to go to me for that. No, I just want to thank all the listeners. I want to thank all the people who support our work. It's because of you we're able to do this and we're able to follow our dreams. This has been a passion of mine since I was in high school, and just to have this kind of recent success and just being able to do what I love doing has been such an elating feeling. And I have all of you to thank. So just keep going out there and following your own dreams, and thank you for supporting ours.
Well, I think the fans really appreciate that, and we got to say thank you so much for being on the show today. You have been an awesome guest.
Thank you for having me, and thank you very much.
And for any of the listeners out there that missed any of this interview, don't fret. You can find it on the website within the next few days. So keep your eyes peeled to 918thefan.com and your ears tuned to 91.8 The Fan, where we play everything you want and nothing you don't.